live. And we
Yep.
are live streaming. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'm Tyler Ellison, and I'm joined by my wonderful friend, the powerful, the excellent Star Shine. Star, how are you today?
Hello, hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be back once again. Looking forward to this. Good to see you too as well, Tyler.
Yeah,
Can't wait to
thank you.
talk to RYOKAH as well. So yeah, it should be exciting.
Absolutely. These are incredibly exciting to do, and the information has most certainly been upgraded quite a bit. I find recently in my own journey, we've been doing a lot of retreats, live channelings, which is new for us. Usually we're internet people, right? And now we're actually going to the people. And I find that it 100% brings higher quality information out of me when I'm doing the channeling. So that's certainly not turning off with more of these in-person things. That's getting stronger. For those of you that want to connect in person, we are doing the Stargate Crusader Retreat in Madison, Connecticut, the 14th through the 16th of July. There are special discounts being offered right now privately. So if you want to attend this retreat and would like to receive a special discount, you can message me. We have a variety of contact emails listed on the website, etc. So please reach out. But this is going to be really powerful. This is group CE5 contact exercises, magical rituals, ancient artifacts, and DNA upgrades. So there are many things that will come from this. These tend to be very life-changing. I know I walk away feeling like I've been teleported to another Earth that's more idealistic. The energies of these retreats tend to follow you home. You know, it's your world will shapeshift to match the new energetic frequency you have acquired and stabilized from the gathering. And stay tuned, my friends. Later this month, we are going to be having our monthly magical ritual. We are going to be doing this on the 25th of July. You can get tickets for that at thegalacticguide.com. These are rituals that involve the mansions of the moon and archangels, and we use these powers of the moon, the satellite for magical energy, with the archangels, the intelligences behind the magical energy, to open new doors. This theme is going to be about gathering primordial momentum and power coupled with divine intelligence so you can flood your life with motivating energies that can help you to really take your next steps forward on whatever projects or dreams you're holding. So this is going to be a ritual for success, intelligence, and motivation, raw creative power. So that's going to be taking place on the 25th. On the 27th, for those of you that have taken our Con and Lead training, we are going to be having a class. This is a follow-up class for those whom have attended. So please take advantage of this, because we're going to be able to revisit the practices together so you can get refamiliarized with them in a teaching sort of classroom context. When you practice on your own, it'll be even more streamlined, even more clear. So if you were part of that training, that's going to be on the 27th. And if you enjoy the work of Rob Gauthier, the ET Whisperer, the Whisperer, me and him will be at Stargate Crusader. We were together at the Lemurian Life Expo, and we did co-channeling, which was very powerful. If you like the co-channelings, I direct you to my friend Genshu's YouTube page. He is in Japan. Me and Rob are doing more events with the Japanese audience, but for the Japanese audience, we are going to be doing co-channeling. So if you want to see exclusive content between me and the ET Whisperer, please check out Genshu's YouTube channel. We'll have links for that up later in the video description. And yes, the sessions are partially in Japanese, but hey, if you want to learn Japanese, nothing like listening to the translations. And you'll hear it in English too. We have a real-time translator. We'll share what we say, and then the translator converts it to Japanese. And we just continue with that type of pattern. They tend to be a lot of fun. Again, a lot of cutting edge information. Different audiences bring out different versions of these beings. So you'll see something very special there. And if you want to learn how to be the emperor or empress of your own kingdom, if you want to know how to astral project, how to banish and invoke beings, and how to heal people from a distance, then I invite you to our Astral Ascent of the Tree of Life program starting on August 5th. This is where we will use astral projection technology to access 22 different dimensions that make up the archetypal foundational layers of the universe. And in these dimensions, you will practice magical skills. You will interact with a variety of beings, higher and lower beings. You will overcome certain things in yourself, and you will watch your magical powers in connection to the source enhance greatly. So I invite you to that. It is a 22-week program. We meet every Thursday. So you get the recordings so you can practice on your own. And if you do this, enlightenment, activation of magical powers, understanding of one's destiny, these are all to be expected. That is what these types of trainings turn on in people. So if you want some of that, if you'd like to know what that's all about, August 5th, more information on thegalacticguide.com. So everybody, thank you for listening to our intros. We will be doing our live stream on YouTube again Sunday, where we're going to announce the upcoming RYOKAH transmission for July. So stay tuned as well. Come on back Sunday if you want more of this information. But now, my friends, enough with the updates from me. Let's get some updates about the universe and your journeys from RYOKAH. So I'm going to go into the trance. RYOKAH, my Sasani entity and counterpart, will speak through me. You're going to be able to type into the YouTube chat whatever questions you want to direct to him. Starshine is going to be looking at that YouTube chat. She's going to be selecting the questions that are most vibrationally aligned with the present moment, and those questions will be asked by her on your behalf to RYOKAH, and you'll be able to hear his perspective, his answer, his information. You can ask pretty much whatever you want. There's some things that are better for private sessions, so do keep that in mind. This is a public forum. Many people, sometimes thousands of people, see this. So do be aware of that. Ask things you are okay asking to an audience of thousands. So do keep that in mind. Love you guys. Thank you for your support. Thanks for coming to these. You all make this really worthwhile. And when I was traveling, I got to connect with some of you in person, which was also really exciting, seeing friends from the internet materialize. So I hope to have many more of those experiences. In the meantime, let's use this online space in such a fun, wonderful way. So enjoy, my friends. I'll see you on the other side. Have a great time. Yo. 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 Oh, I. Oh, I. Oh, I. All right, we thank you for joining us for this joyful exchange and creative co-creation with one another this day. How are you?
Hello, my friend. Welcome back. Good to see you again.
Of course, it is wonderful to see you in this way, to interact with you in this way. We trust you are doing well. We understand you have recently had a personal celebration in your development, so congratulations on another cycle being completed.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And it
Of
was
course.
World UFO Day as well, which is very synchronous for
Of
myself
course.
anyway.
Yes, no accident there whatsoever.
Yes.
Yes. For you, your understanding of your role based on that synchronicity is likely quite clear, or at least certain facets of it are. So keep in mind that for some of you, that is how you will understand your purpose, just through paying attention to the synchronicities that align with your birthday, that align with your numerology, that align with your astrology. You will see all types of pattern overlaps because you've left yourself clues, you've left yourself hints, so that way you can be victorious, if you will, in this game of life. Because if it is truly a game, there is, of course, victory and loss. What that is up to you. What you deem to be your successful version of life, your ideal version of life. Many of you would compare that to winning the game, living in a way that is deviant from who you are, your true nature, your passion. Many of you would compare that to losing the game. Remember, it's an infinite game. That is why you have the ability to have infinite incarnations if you deem that necessary. That's how some beings operate. Not all beings necessarily choose ascension. Certain versions of them may. Others may choose to continue and continue and continue and continue because it allows for them to play the game differently.
Indeed, there are no coincidences, are there, anywhere?
None whatsoever.
Great. Well, are you ready for your questions? I'm sure we have a bunch here.
We are. Now we have one last follow-up to say. There are no coincidences except that which you label as such. That would be considered truly a cosmic coincidence. It's ultimately a synchronicity. It's a message. It's a packet of information. But if it is labeled coincidence, then that has been created as the experience. So remember, even the creation of a coincidence, nothing more than that is available to you, if that's how you choose to relate to things. Of course, you must be careful about denial, because if it truly is a message that you don't want to see and just write it off as a coincidence, well, you may have a challenging time taking your next step if you are pretending the signpost for your next step is something other than the signpost for your next step.
Yes, that makes perfect sense to me.
Of course. One last thing we'll say, because we know synchronicities are a hot topic and they can come in many shapes and sizes, many forms. Keep in mind that with each synchronicity that you observe, take time to carefully translate the synchronicity. There are many people on your planet who will assume the meaning of a symbol without truly investigating it. And then when they act upon their assumption of what that symbol means, they end up getting a result that's not necessarily aligned with their preference or liking. So do be mindful to deeply interpret the symbols that you're given. Be prepared to look at books, be prepared to search your internet, be prepared to search your heart, and develop a multifaceted understanding of the symbol. Before you know it, you're going to be able to translate not just your own synchronicities, but the synchronicities of others, if that is appealing to you. That's the purpose of understanding symbolism. You can understand the meanings that life is sharing with you in different moments.
Yes, so it's like the universal language almost, you could say, right? Symbolism.
As it expresses relevant to your human psychology. Absolutely. And remember, human psychology is not bound to Earth. Many beings utilize a humanoid or human-like psychology. There are many other species on your planet that share your DNA, that share your anatomical themes. Keep this in mind. So your psychology is not just terrestrial. The archetypes you use are not just relevant to Earth.
Great. Very interesting. Thank you for that.
Yes. And now you can begin with the questions that you have deemed to be most exciting, most relevant.
Great. So up first, we have a question from Zen, and he's asking if you could speak on the beings from the Zeta Reticuli constellation and their connection to the Greys, what we typically know of as the Greys.
Sure. So do keep in mind that the form that you associate with the Greys, the slender, sometimes tiny bodies, the large heads, the large eyes, the small sense organs, the small nose, the small ears, the small mouth. Keep in mind that this form is not limited to one species. This form is not limited to any particular region of the cosmos. What we will say is the following. The Greys, because there are many factions within their umbrella of DNA, because of this, there have been many breakaway factions that have utilized what you would consider to be technologies that embody the skills you describe as teleportation and time travel. Many of these breakaway civilizations traveled to various regions of the cosmos. Many of them began to further hybridize themselves with the genetics of the local species that they encountered within those particular regions of the cosmos. Some Greys were able to find, you could say, a healthful path of evolution because they broke away from what you call classically the Grey Federation before it really tanked and genetically edited itself into a corner. So they left before this. They had ideological differences in perspective, in opinion, in relationship to all that is. So these breakaway civilizations made homes in different regions of the cosmos. They are no longer genetically bound to one another. They have evolved in their own way with other species, with other genetics. Some of them have gone through ascensions. This is why some of you experience luminous gray beings when you encounter the grays. This is also why some of you can experience hybrid gray beings when you encounter the grays. And this is why some of you experience classical gray beings when you interact with the grays. That is what you are tuning into here. The grays that embodied residence within the system that you call Zeta Reticuli, these are gray beings that worked with a variety of founder-based species, the beings that are reminiscent of ant people. Ant humanoid-like beings are present within Zeta Reticuli. Mantis beings, founders, are present within Zeta Reticuli. Certain reptilian groups are present within Zeta Reticuli. And there are adventurers from different civilizations, scientists from different civilizations, some of them more humanoid, that are exploring Zeta Reticuli. So it is a less human system, but became more human when certain factions of the Grey Federation that broke off the main aspects of the civilization began to occupy Zeta Reticuli. The founder beings, the mantid beings, they are not limited to Zeta Reticuli. They have multiple locations within the cosmos that they occupy. There is a connection that they also share with the star relevant to Scorpio that you call Antares. And there is also a population of gray beings proximal to this star. And they have a level of relationship, the grays and the mantis beings. Their relationship has to do with the hybridization program. It has to do with technological exchange, technological innovation. It has to do with genetic alteration and healing. It also has to do with what many of you on Earth would describe as shadow work. Because the grays, many of them, edited out emotions. There are still grays with emotions. You'll encounter this. But there are many that are cold. So they do not have the, you could say, indication signals that let them know emotionally something's out of balance. They're numb to this, but this does not mean there are things that are not out of balance just because they can't feel it. So the mantis beings also assist the grays in facing their own shadow. And it is a very different approach that is taken than what is taken on Earth when shadow work is performed. So the mantis beings have many levels of relationship with the beings that you call the gray, which the Bashar has described as the Maze, referencing the specific lineage of gray beings that were produced by the Anunnaki, or what you call Anunnaki. Remember, that's a Sumerian word used to represent species that are much more ancient. Do keep this in mind.
Great, thank you so much for that. And then the next question is, when I channel my guides and I ask them yes or no questions, how do I know what's actually true and what's not?
Well, if you're relying just on intuition, your mind and your mind's sense of alignment and your heart's sense of alignment are really going to be your only barometers for accuracy. So one of the things that we would do is advise the implementation of external tools to verify the accuracy of what you are psychically receiving. If you find that you get a certain facet of information and you feel it's true, and then you test it with 2 other means of testing information, well, now you have 3 separate indicators that verify that something is either true or that verify something is false. So the tarot can be quite useful, drawing a card that represents the essence of whatever the message is that you have received. One of the other tools we would recommend is working with a pendulum, using the pendulum to detect whether or not what you have received is accurate or is false. Both of these tools can be programmed with energy and your intention. So if you know how to channel Reiki energy or energy in general, you'll be natural at this. Just beam energy from your hands into the object and make it feel, through your devotion and your belief, very real. Feel your hands getting hotter. Feel warmth contained within the beams of energy traveling from your hands to the deck or pendulum. Spend time charging and seeing the object getting brighter, feeling that the spirit within the object is receiving more energy. Bring your breath into it, bringing fresh energy into your heart center on the inhale, exhaling and pushing that energy out your hands on the exhale. Do this for some time and then instruct the deck, instruct the pendulum. Act as a sacred tool that assists me in determining the accuracy of the psychic revelations that I am receiving. Clearly communicate to me whether or not these inner visions or inclinations or symbols that I am getting are accurate or are not accurate. Furthermore, it assists me in interpreting the meaning of these visions, the meaning of these symbols, the meaning of these insights I'm receiving. Show me how they are to be applied as well. Communicate this to me in a clear way, in a consistently clear way, in a way that nourishes my true life path and my true will. Thank you, Almighty Tool. May your true will be nourished through working with me. For Tarot Deck, your true will is to divine information. O mighty pendulum, your true will is to communicate various messages to the one whom holds you. May your true will and purpose be nourished as mine is nourished through our relationship. And so it is. And this is how you can speak to your tools. This is how you can relate to your tools, and your tools will then serve you in that way. But you must spend time learning their language. Know what the pendulum's no looks like. Know what the pendulum's yes looks like. Know what the pendulum's maybe looks like. Understand the different meanings of the tarot cards. You can work with the whole deck, or you can do just the major arcana. The whole deck is more useful, but the major arcana can assist you in understanding fundamental archetypal meanings. But it will be more limited if the minor arcana is not included. So do keep this in mind. Always test your information. Remember this for all of you. Test what you are given from spirit. Be like a scientist, because then you will have accuracy in your communication. You will have knowledge and peace of mind as you move on your path, because you will know that you have read accurately the signposts. If you do not know the meanings of the signposts, you really only have feeling and gut instinct to go off of. You can do a lot with that. That's not bad. But sometimes it can feel more like a leap of faith, even small things, if those symbols are not understood.
Yes, and I would think it's just a matter of being in touch with your true core self, really.
Of course,
Correct.
because once you're in touch with your true core self, you do not necessarily need external tools. But for people that are learning to get fully in touch with that true self, which is an eternal process, the tools prove quite useful. Because sometimes your inner guidance may give you things that go very much against the norms, the comfort zones, the limitations one has built. And if that happens, sometimes having the external tool can be useful to build that confidence that's needed to trust that the expansion is actually the move. Yes.
Great. Thank you so much for that.
Of course.
The next question is, what would you suggest is the most important to focus on with the Cancer new moon?
Personal healing. Personal healing. Also, what you would consider to be energies and issues related to sexuality. This will also be incredibly useful to investigate. Cancer is ruled by the moon. In terms of the body, the moon connects to your groin, your perineum. the elimination organs, the reproductive organs. In that sense, the front of the body represents the waxing moon. It is the direction of the body that represents life. The back of the body, which has to do with elimination, represents the waning moon, the darkening of the moon, and it has to do with the energies that relate to elimination and death. So this is also a very useful time to contemplate the mysteries of life and death. It is a useful time to let go of the things that no longer serve you and to call forth the things that do. Use the power of death, which you all possess, to reduce that which is out of balance in your life. Use the power of life, which you all possess, to nourish that which is life-giving in your world. These are the main themes to focus upon for this month. It is important to take advantage of these energies because remember, once you go from Cancer season, you go into Leo season. Leo is the most bestial of the zodiacal signs. It is connected to the heart. So remember, it is the energies of the lower body that create fuel and stability for the energies of the upper body. In that way, your heart fire draws upon the sexual energy. If the sexual energy, if the lunar energies are not transformed and purified, they will rise come August, and they will begin to be processed by the heart, because the heart opens to the eyes, because the heart rules the body as the emperor of the body. Those lower themes will become more projected around you. They will become more greatly embodied. So spend this time purifying those themes, tending to those themes, because that Leo heart will activate and it will draw the lower energies up. Once they are drawn up, they will be projected through the eyes. They will be a part of the aura. That's not always a bad thing. Remember, sometimes when you project negativity around you, you have the ability to see it and then more easily transform it. For those of you that focus on the inner energy work, the shadow work, the self-healing, you can start that process now. You don't have to project those energies. And that may be as simple for some of you as speaking positive affirmations to your lower body, beaming loving energies to your lower body, and visualizing the organs of the lower body glowing with light, glowing with health, seeing the spirits of those organs happy and vital and aligned with their destiny and true will, because all organs possess a spirit, just as all things possess a spirit. So you can use this time to get in touch with these aspects of your body. It can be very playful, it can be very easy, it can be very fun. Yes, it will bring things up, but if you've been following this material, you have many tools at your disposal to use to assist you in that self-discovery. So either way, you have many positive things, all of you, to look forward to. But use this time to be like the crab. Go inside the shell. Do not resist this. Because remember, things are heating up. You're moving deeper into summer, many of you. Not all of you, of course. Your seasons differ from hemisphere to hemisphere. So it is important for those of you that are being affected by the summer energies to use those cooling inner reflective energies that the crab provides all of you to be able to go within, to be able to transform what needs to be transformed. So by the time you get to August, what you project, what comes to a peak, will truly be in alignment with your preference, because summer is the top of the mountain. So whatever you're bringing is like a glowing object that you have brought to the top of the mountain that all will see. So what occurs in summer is defining. It's the highest point. So use that well. Use that to your advantage and know that you can. Believe that you can. Trust that you can. Because if you're busy believing you cannot do it, if you're busy trusting that you cannot do it, if you are busy believing that it will be difficult, then you're just using your power of trust and belief in a direction you don't prefer. So have a moment of neutral realization where you withdraw energies from those old beliefs and dissolve the old beliefs and then apply that energy from a transformed state into the new ones, into the beliefs of confidence. It can be that easy. It can be that simple. The catch is, once you make that new belief, you must live as if it's true. And you must do so without denial of what is no longer true for you. So acceptance of the world you have left is also an essential step. Keep these in mind.
That's really beautiful, actually. I've never heard anyone put it like that, but that's so true.
We're happy
Okay,
to put it that way.
great. Up next, we have a fun question. Are there really alive dinosaurs in the Congo jungle?
There are certain species, yes, but you must remember they have evolved quite a bit. The reptilian species, many of them, come from Earth. They are saurian beings that were upgraded, just as many human groups were upgraded and were turned into more intellectually driven forms of life through such upgrades. The saurian beings that remained on Earth, some of them are augmented. They have been telepathic, they have been psychic, they have been sentient in ways that surpass human consciousness for some time. Others have had a slower evolution, but have been protected and have been guided. Their evolution more naturalistic, more based upon the cycles of time. So both types, both varieties of saurian, both natural and augmented, or non-augmented and natural, as well as augmented and genetically assisted, these groups do exist on your planet, have existed on your planet. They are not limited to the Congo jungle. Your Amazon rainforest and jungle also possesses both varieties, the augmented and non-augmented varieties. Some of them are underground. Do keep this in mind. Now, when we say underground, we are speaking in two ways, in a physical way and in an extra dimensional way. There are certain environments beneath your Earth that if you were to physically travel to them, there would be glowing crystalline objects and beings within the walls that would channel energy very similar to sunlight. There are certain solar stones within your planet that are luminescent in nature and can nourish beings just as your sun nourishes all of you. It is a very deep type of nourishment because it is solar light coming through a crystal. Furthermore, there are also beings, living beings and plants that have the ability to give off light as well, that can act as a form of nourishment and even replacement for direct sunlight. There are places deep within your Earth like this, where many ancient species now reside. There are also extra-dimensional inner Earth realities, where the higher dimensional versions of such species reside. So the saurian beings still have a powerful level of relevance to Earth, and this is oftentimes seen in your children. Keep in mind, it is no mistake that many children have a fascination with dinosaurs. They have a strong connection to these beings. That is because these beings are wisdom keepers. They inform many things in the astral world. This is the world souls must pass through in order to incarnate on Earth within a fetus. So, do keep in mind, they are physically relevant, they are astrally relevant, and they contain within them a very complete story of your species and of the Earth itself. So they are a wise group to commune with.
Great, thank you so much. The next question is there anything we can think of to manifest a spaceship in the sky on the spot?
Is there anything you can think of? There are many things you can think of that are conducive to the summoning of spacecraft, but do keep in mind, it's oftentimes not necessarily the nature of your thought, but it is the broadcast of your thought that determines whether or not it will be noticed. Keep in mind, for a person who has not deeply activated themselves energetically, their thoughts will only have a certain range of broadcast because they are using only the smaller reservoirs of energy and channels and chakras of energy within the body to perform the broadcasting. They're mainly using the electrical field of the brain to broadcast. It is very useful for telepathy, this type of broadcasting, but it is more so limited to the human level. It will only affect certain things that are resonant with that level of mind. So it will be more limited, not ineffective, but more limited. If a person is able to project beyond their body, and if a person is able to carry that thought as a bubble of energy into the higher planes, they can then see that bubble of energy upon arrival pulse a beam of light that communicates that thought into all dimensions, into all densities, into all realities. That thought could be anything. But remember, it doesn't just have to be a few words. Take an energy orb, create it with your hands, with your breath, just as we talked about charging those divinatory objects. Bring the hands together. Instead of beaming light into an object, beam light between your palms into an energy orb. Charge this energy orb up. Make a container for your thought. And then see in that energy orb the reality of contact. Like a movie, watch it play out. See you in the movie, your friends in the movie, everyone you care about, so excited, so happy. See the ships land, see the ships gather, see beings emerge and make contact. Watch this as a movie and really feel what it would be like to be in that situation. Feel the love that the beings would share. Feel the excitement of meeting a new species. Feel the powerful state of mind you must occupy in order to maintain the interaction. Feel these things. And then speak your thought out loud into this energy ball. It is my will to make contact right here, right now, with benevolent, diverse extraterrestrial beings whom are here to assist me and support me on my journey and are here to uplift and benefit humanity in auspicious, beautiful, loving ways. May we work together, may we know one another, and may we collaborate in the creation of heaven on earth, the new earth. And so it is. And you can do one of two things. Simply send the energy ball up and watch it go up into the universe. Or you can put your mind into this energy ball and fly it up yourself into the heart of the universe. And once there, see it pulse and emit a beam of light into all directions, at least 6. Before you, behind you, to the left, to the right, above and below. And then rest in that upper space. Go into that state of pure feminine reception in that upper space. Feel that energy you have sent out returning to you. And when ready, bring your perspective back down. And gaze upon the skies. It will be more powerful if you do this with more people. This will be easier if you do it on a clear night. Choose the location, choose the timing well. Remember, UFOs tend to reveal themselves when there are high vibrational celestial phenomenon taking place. So pay attention to lunar alignments, pay attention to lunar phases, as well as other celestial events, your solstices, your equinoxes, as well as planetary alignments, specifically those involving Mercury, specifically those involving Saturn. Both have a strong connection to extraterrestrial consciousness. So pay attention to those things.
Great, thank you so much. And the
Of
next
course.
question is, can humans experience conscious death?
Sure, and many have. Absolutely. Maha Samadhi. This is the technique. Conscious death. Willful death. The practitioner usually projects their physical essence, soul body, and spirit body as one form up and out of their crown chakra. They do it in such a way where the life force needed to keep the physical body alive is brought with them. It's a very powerful exit. It's technically not considered suicide as well, because such a high degree of the person's consciousness has left the body with them. So they have a high level of autonomy within the spirit world because they have brought in the essence of the physical body with them. It's as if they possess the human form within the spirit world. They have all of their skills, all of their knowledge. Many of them whom leave the body in this way become ascended masters, spirit guides, secret chiefs, for those that still remain on the surface amongst the living. So yes, this is possible.
Great. And the next question is, are the tall whites the Nordics?
No, they are different. They oftentimes are lumped together because there have been collaborations. If you were to experience a tall white, it would look like a gray, but its skin is white. almost silver white, like a glowing white. Many have called the Nordics tall grays, or rather tall whites. However, the Nordics are just that. They are Nordics in nature. Some of them can be tall, and that is oftentimes why people will associate tallness with them, but they are a different group.
Great, thank you so much. And the next question is, how can an individual manifest something that's against the collective?
By building up more energy than the collective has on a personal level within that theme, within that subject. So keep in mind that many a times in your political system, there will be a majority and a minority. The majority may wish to move in a certain direction. However, that direction may not be best, may not be ideal for the collective. Nevertheless, it's desired by the majority. So the minority will represent opposition to that movement, opposition to that direction. They can still manifest what they would deem to be the consequence of victory and transformation. They can still do this, absolutely. It's just that they must use deeper levels of creativity. They must use strategy. They must use more energy because they don't have that collective momentum, or at least not as much of it, acting as the momentum for their movement, for their direction. So they will have to get creative and use the energies that they have at their disposal. Remember, the more esoteric and spiritual the tool, the more transformative the effect. The more physical the tool, usually the longer something will take. When you use physical tools and energetic tools, you end up getting a more complete effect. As you raise your frequency and become more energetically yourselves and more energetically autonomous, it is as if you are no longer dwelling within the reality that the collective shares. It is more like you are dwelling within your own reality, projecting your own version of the collective. That's a side effect of raising your frequency. Your vantage point for the physical reality experience and how the physical reality experience is experienced changes. So eventually, it's not a matter of convincing the collective to invest in your idea. It's simply a matter of you feeding as much energy into your idea as possible. And it will then manifest in some way. And through synchronicity, there will be members of your collective that are there to support it. But you do not need to use the collective's understanding of ethics and morality as your own. Because as you know, there are certain things that are in fact not moral highs or ethical highs that are endorsed by your collective and have been endorsed by your collective. So it is important to be your own thinker. That is a part of creating your own reality, not going by what the collective says. Oftentimes the collective is incorrect about many things. So be prepared on this journey to expand past the collective viewpoint and do not limit yourself to what the collective deems acceptable or not acceptable, or you will find that you become more of a people pleaser. You will keep your head down. You'll do what you're told. Those things are fine. You can live that way. But if you're looking to create your own world on Earth, well, there may be those that oppose that. There may be those that don't like that. There may be those that wish to keep you small. So you don't have to battle these things, but what is needed is that you generate more momentum than these things and you expand yourself regardless of these things and allow for the evidence of your success to be the proof that wins those whom oppose you over. They'll see what you're doing is successful. They'll see what you're doing is powerful. They will say, I wish I could do something like that in my life. How can I do that? And you may win people over. So you don't have to use the collective as a barometer. It can be used as a barometer, and oftentimes there is advantage to checking in with the collective. Because of course, whatever you manifest, if it's against the collective, at a minimum, make sure it is good for the collective. Make sure it helps the collective. Nothing wrong with going against the collective. Sometimes the sheep don't realize they're being led off a cliff by a wolf dressed up as a shepherd. Sometimes they don't see this. So it is useful at times to intervene in collective affairs. Nevertheless, make sure your interventions are in support of the collective, because if they are manifestations that detriment the collective, now you will have a part of the collective aware of that harm. It will be unconsciously detected. It will be something you have to contend with. So do be aware of this.
Thank you.
Of
Up
course.
next is, could you tell us something about the Pleiadians?
We can tell you many things. They are close to you genetically. There are some that are more physical like you. There are some that have completely evolved into their light bodies. There are many species and variety of species that exist within the Pleiades. Many humanoid, but there are many exotic forms of beings and consciousness that occupy the system that is the Pleiadian system, just as many different forms of consciousness, many different forms of beings occupy your Earth. There are many avian species within the Pleiades. There are very powerful aquatic terrestrial species, and you could say beings of the land and the sea that occupy the Pleiades. Their physical worlds are very oceanic in nature. If you were to experience them, cliffs, mountains, powerful waves, powerful forests, where physical and non-physical beings are aware of one another and they dwell upon these worlds. There is a strong musical relationship that exists amongst all of the forms of life and the celestial bodies that are connected to the Pleiades. It is as if the seven sisters sing a sacred song together, each star representing a different instrument, each star representing a different voice. These stars work together and create harmonious, subtle music that feeds neighboring stars and that feeds the physical and light beings that occupy the Pleiadian system. There are governments within the Pleiadian system. They are similar to what you would consider to be systems of kingship. There are councils within councils within councils that are overseen by a central figure. However, the central figure is a collective being. You must keep this in mind. It's not as if one person has the final say. It's as if one consciousness made up of many has the final say. Because the further you go into the Pleiadian tree of life, the closer you get to the Godhead of that tree, the more unified everything becomes. So you have light beings, non-physical Pleiadian beings, just below this Godhead. They make up the non-physical councils. But then the Godhead itself is as if all of the council members and more have come together as a superintelligence. So the lower parts of the tree, the lower councils, these are the physical types of beings, the physical representatives. And the higher you get, the more of the light beings occupy those councils. So the different councils that all work together do so based in a musical way. They do this for all matters, matters of diplomacy, matters of trade, matters of expansion. All matters related to the Pleiadian governments are communicated in song. Different personal perspectives are like different notes or sequences of notes within a song. There will be some within the council that are singing the same song. There will be some where no one is singing the song, they're singing. Yet all of these different songs and the components of them work together to create a collective song. And by the time the song is finished, all members of the council are more or less on the same page. The song itself has shown them through that synergy the highest outcome. So their method of collective decision-making is very immersive, very immersive. And this is where different ideas, different philosophies dance together on the energetic level. Whatever is most aligned is what remains. And that way people don't even have to debate. The strength of the idea is shown through the result.
Thank you.
Of
Up
course.
next is, how involved is my star family with my life?
How involved is your star family with your life? It depends on how much you involve them. Depends on how you're living your life. If you're living your life from the perspective of a mortal, of a single being, if you're living your life from the perspective of your social roles, they're not intervening too much. If you're living your life from the perspective of being an ambassador, a representative of your star family, they will become very involved with your life for a few reasons. If you are representing them, what your life becomes will be a testament of the relationship you have had with them. So naturally, they want people to work with them. So they will invest in your life. They will strive to empower you so you can live the best life that you can live. That makes it more attractive for others to desire to work with their star family in the co-creation of their life. So when you call these beings in, they start to assist, they start to help. If you spend time each day connecting with them, taking in their energy, sharing your energy with them, they will absolutely become a part of your life because they'll be a part of your aura. They'll be a part of your mind. They'll be a part of your body. So you're the one in control of this. Remember, on Earth, you have the experience of free will. Therefore, benevolent beings will only intervene usually in extreme circumstance. That's usually the only time they'll do it, unless you invite them in to assist you in more common things, more day-to-day things. This is because they don't want to overstep their boundary. If they do that, it could create a grave imbalance. It could interrupt your natural evolution and journey, and it could expose them in an excessive way that could interfere with contact, depending on how things are embodied by the human whom they are in relationship with. If that person is a very grounded person, a very powerful person, these types of interventions, they will be integrated smoothly. But for some people, if the intervention is too strong and they're not grounded enough, it can really change them. Their personalities can change, their values can change, their view of humanity can change. So guides usually will only come forth that are of the extraterrestrial variety when they're called upon, because if you're calling upon them, it usually means you're ready for deeper forms of contact. So if they're not called, they're just in the background. They might give you healings here and there. They might give you dreams here and there, but they do it more subtly. If you make the relationship conscious, they'll become a part of your waking life, your conscious life. And you can work with them to assist you in the many projects, tasks, and goals that you have that are related to your physical reality experience.
Thank you. And
Of course.
why have we created a reality in which we need to breathe and have breath?
Because it allows for you to take in the spirit element in a particular way, and it nourishes your theme of duality, which is really just a simplistic understanding of the Trinity that truly makes up all levels of reality. But in your experience of Earth, duality is more heavily emphasized, despite the foundation of creation really being a Trinity. So you have inner and outer mixing together. You have self and other mixing together. You have light and dark mixing together with every breath. Through breathing, you begin to experience your first relationship. Remember, you have your relationship to water. You have your relationship to food. You have your relationship with loved ones. Your relationship with breath is the most foundational one. Even though you do not breathe when you are in the womb, you are still using the muscles of respiration to pump nutrition into yourself when you're in the womb, even though you're not physically breathing. So the dynamics that you experience with respiration on the muscular level, these are dynamics that are not just designed to pull in air. They are designed to pull in energy. That is their primary role. So you breathe not just for air, you breathe for energy. It is the most nourishing form of energy. That is why without it you perish quickly. It contains in abundance what is known as the clear light. Clear light is the highest frequency of light. It is so powerful that you are surrounded in it and by it, but you have no visual awareness of it because it is transparent. So right now you are looking at clear light, but because it is transparent, you see your physical reality around you. When you look within yourself, it looks dark, but this is because the clear light is transparent. So you see darkness, you see through it. This is the highest level of light. This is something that we will speak about more as we continue. For now, though, we are a little past the time mark, so we will allow the channel to return to a normal state of being. These matters and more will be addressed more fully in a future transmission. So we thank you for coming, all of you. We thank you for receiving this information. And for those of you within the United States, happy 4th of July. Good day.
Good day.
All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. It's great to deliver this to you more. That last question, I'm not sure if we answered it all the way, but when I go over in time, sometimes I get way too overheated and scrambled. So if that last question wasn't clear, I do apologize. We try to keep it 15 after the hour. I think we're about 10 over. But I hope the last question was insightful. I hope it was complete for you guys. But thank you all for coming. We're going to be doing the live stream on Sunday as well. So that's going to be another Q&A. So if your questions weren't answered here, please join us there. And we're also going to be giving the promotional information for the upcoming RYOKAH private event for July. So I'll see you guys on Sunday. And like I said, Magical Ritual is on the 25th. So if you want to work with me in a magical capacity to call creative energy, direction, and intelligence into your life, then we'll see you then on the 25th. And of course, Stargate Crusader, the 14th through the 16th. I'll be with Rob Gauthier. I'll be with Tony Ghazi. I'll be with Glenn Mates. We're going to have a wonderful time in Madison, Connecticut, summoning UFOs, doing channelings, doing group energy work. It will absolutely change your life. So I encourage you to come. And like I said, we're doing special discounts. If you're interested, message me privately and I can include you in that discount. So Starshine, thanks so much for hosting. Thanks for the questions. I thought they were all pretty cool. And I think we got some expansive perspectives.
For sure. It was a lot of fun. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks, Tyler, as always.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. I'll see all you guys soon. Enjoy this wonderful holiday. And if it's not a holiday in your country, please make it one because we can all party. And it's great to know I am celebrating with cool friends across the world. So have a beautiful now, everybody. And we'll see you guys soon. We'll see you this Sunday. Take care.